chances are that if you're handed a box of clothes, you'll be excited. But sometimes it's good to wait and see the content in that box before you get really excited. And I really enjoyed my years as a full-time media employee. Yes, I really enjoyed my years there. But something happened. I had a job at a particular media house. During that time, traditional media houses were more popular. Now you have online media houses, you have, freelance opportunities, but then traditional media houses were just the thing. And I had a job in a traditional media house. I got a job. They employed me as a staff writer. In fact, I got employed to work for a particular, they were trying to bring up a magazine, but the idea did not hold. But because I was already contributing, I'll talk about it in another video, while they sacked some of my colleagues or my subordinates or my seniors, I still kept the job. So I was now employed as a staff writer in their sister newspaper. Yes, so while I was there, I was just there doing my thing. I didn't know that I had any exceptional qualities or that people were appreciating what I was doing. And so they wanted to start a pullout, because by then it was just few news houses that had fashion pullouts. In a newspaper, you see a regular newspaper, weekend newspaper, they will have a fashion pullout. So they were thinking of having a fashion pull out, and they wanted an editor. I had no idea, because anywhere I work, I'm not really a political person. If I'm working in a place, I just go do my job and I get out. I'm not the kind of person that I want to be there to know what's happening or to start seeking favors, currying favors, or being a sycophant. I just do my job basically and I leave, which is, some people say is not so good. It's good to network and all that, but that's just my personality. I believe in being very professional, do what I have to do, and just leave that environment instead of involving myself in office gossip and all the little things that would happen in some offices. So I didn't know that they were even about to start a fashion pullout, and they were looking for an editor for this fashion pullout, and they were quite some contenders, really. Yes, the newspaper house I worked for, is in a was or is still in Abuja. Yes, so Abuja, you consider it is the northern part of Nigeria, and they had a target audience. They wanted northerners to to really patronize, they wanted to focus on northerners. And as you see, I'm not a northerner. Yes, I'm a southern Nigerian, for those that don't know. So they were seeking somebody to make an editor. So they went round, and I didn't know that the owner of the newspaper, of blessed memory now, he now went around seeking for who to make the editor. He asked the consultant, he asked one of the board members, and he asked my boss, my direct boss then in the weekend newspaper. And three of them, on different angles, they recommended me, and I had no idea. But he was like, no, she's from the southern part of Nigeria. And since we are trying to get someone in the northern part, we are trying to get the interest from the people in the northern part of the country. She can't be the editor. Let her be the assistant editor. So at that time, the consultant of the newspaper that I was working for was kind of the mentor, and I was close to him because I knew his wife. So it was like a family friend kind of situation. So he now told me about the opportunity that they want. So I was like, that they wanted to make you the editor, but they want you to be the assistant editor. I was like, I'm not really interested, because at that time I had left Abuja. I was now contributing my piece from outside Abuja. So I was like, I can't. First of all, the salary was nothing really to write home about. I couldn't really take off my basic needs. In fact, that was why I left Abuja to that other town. So I was like, I won't be able to come, just make somebody else the assistant editor. And I forgot about it. I continued contributing as a staff writer, my articles and all that. Only for the consultant to come back and say they insisted that they wanted me to be the person, to be the editor. And I thought about it. Okay, being an editor comes with opportunities. Let me go back to Abuja and see what the job, what it offers, what it entails, what are the benefits, what my job is supposed to be, and all that. And when I got to Abuja, the situation was tense, because a lot of people had planned, they had lobbied for the position. And when I got it, it was as if I got it on a platter of gold. I didn't know that I annoyed a lot of people. So I came in, the atmosphere was not exactly cordial or, friendly, but I just did what I had to do, and I started my duty. I started working there. But it was like the salary they gave me like 10,000 extra. Then it wasn't still anything to write home about. But I was like, okay, let me just start. Let me just start. Opportunities may come from this, and it's an opportunity to also grow my career. Because it was like they promoted me. They gave me three steps promotion from a staff writer to an editor of a pullout. It's like almost you had I passed the stage of being a senior staff writer or being something else before being an editor. So it was like a big promotion. So I said, okay, and I started. But there was just something. I started, first of all, I'm not a fashion person. For people that know me, I'm not very fashionable. I try to be presentable as much as possible, but I'm not someone that knows the fashion pieces or what kind of clothes and the clothes that are in vogue and all that. Those are not my interests. I'm interested in other things. So it wasn't really something I wanted, but I felt like in Nigeria we have a lot more things to talk about. As a journalist, my passion was to write things that would highlight the plight of the vulnerable, help the poor people, help the marginalized people to get the kind of help they need or the attention they need, highlight their stories. So I wasn't really crazy about talking about fashion. And they all wanted us to go and meet these really, really rich people, these interview rich people. Of course, other people be excited about it. But for me, journalism was a passion, was something I wanted to do to help the less privileged. So I wasn't really interested in meeting ministers or presidents or those kind of people. It wasn't my thing. But so that was why there was a lot of anger when I got that position, because I felt it was something they felt that they would use to know people. But for me, those things don't really interest me. I just believe in giving my best, and whatever is mine will be mine. I don't need to hustle. I don't need to be hustling for something. I've gotten opportunities just come. I don't have to be desperate. I just have to be who I am. So it wasn't really what I wanted. So I was just like managing it. I wasn't really crazy about the job, but I got into it. I did it the best that I could. But one day, the owner of the newspaper of blessed memory, I just want to say something about that man. He was very, very focused. Yes, he was strict, but he was very, very focused. So he had an issue with me. He felt like I wasn't giving him my best, or he felt, I know people were going behind my back, I'm sure, to say some things about the thing I was doing. They didn't come to me directly to give me some. They were just doing a lot of gossip here and there. And he now confronted me. It was like he talked about it. And he said something that it wasn't like he was lying, but he said something, and maybe he forgot, and he now asked me that, is this the situation? I said no. People were looking at me shocked, because I believe in saying the truth. Sometimes we compromise because we feel, oh, we don't want to lose one opportunity or the other. But I'm not the kind of person to compromise. These days, to be honest, I'm less emotional, I'm more diplomatic. But at the same time, I still believe in the truth, saying the truth as much as possible. So when he said something that he did not say, I said, you did not say that. And he got really upset. And the other people was asking them, did I not say that? They say yes. And I knew it wasn't true. And you could see it in their eyes that they knew it wasn't true, but they didn't want to upset the guy. So the guy was like, if you're not passionate about this thing, just leave it. And he now stormed out of the office. And I thought about it. When he left, I sat down and I thought about it. I said, I really am not passionate about this thing. I really am not. I'm just doing it because, this thing of, you have this opportunity, you better take advantage of it, that kind of thing. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to. And I gave up that position. I said, okay, if my staff writer position is still available, I want to continue in that trend. But if it's not available, I was ready to walk out of the job. And surprisingly, the staff writer position was still available, and I continued doing what I was really passionate about. The chairman, I never met him again, or we never had a one-on-one meeting. And at the end of the day, somebody else took over, and that's how I relinquished that position. Sometimes when we have just like when you talk about Nigeria or African leaders, you see them holding on to power so much. You should learn to live when the ovation is highest, loudest, because now you have a situation in an African country. I'm not going to mention the country. I'm not a political person, but at least in this channel, I don't really talk about political issues. But there's an African leader. He's going for a position the eighth time. He's 90 something. He's going for the eighth time as president. I mean, if you're a good leader, you should have transfer some of your leadership qualities, that is if he has any, to your subordinates. Why should you be the one that you want to have the eighth term? It's not a system of monarchy, it's democracy. So it's supposed to be after a tenure, someone else, or two tenures at most, someone else should take over. So that is what happens when you hold on to power. There's nothing else you can do. You just want to hold on to power indefinitely. You frustrate people, you make people unhappy. You don't even have opportunities for other opportunities. Because when I left that job, I got a much better job offer. In fact, I got two better job offers. I worked in another media house. I was paid, the salary was better, the opportunities were bigger. So holding on to something, being desperate, will always lead you to do things you are not supposed to do. If you are a woman, you may now be forced to sleep with your boss, or you are a guy, you may now be forced to join a cult or do some things because you want to hold on to a position. One thing I want to say, one thing I want you to take out from this is that what is yours is yours. You should also be discerning, learn to know to live when your vision is loudest, when you have contributed what you need to contribute, because there's always more, you always have more opportunities ahead of you. Don't become desperate when you have a job. Don't think that's the end of the road, you have to hold on to that job forever. When it's time to leave, you leave honorable and you leave amicably. I've worked in places where people that stayed on were disgraced out of the job. They did not live honorably.